Hi everyone, my name is Matt, also known as UKAstroNut, and today in this video I'm going to talk to you about our very own star that's in our solar system, the Sun. Now that's a really key point actually to begin with. Now, a lot of people don't realise that our Sun is just like any other star in the universe. Admittedly, it's a lot bigger and brighter than a lot of the stars you see in the sky, the little points of light in the night sky. But that's just because it's a lot closer to us, and so it appears a lot bigger and it's a lot brighter. And also we get most of the radiation, most of the heat and the light from the Earth comes from our very own Sun. Whereas the other stars are a lot further away. Our second closest star to us on Earth, the one that isn't the Sun, is thousands of times further away than the Sun, so it appears a lot smaller and a lot fainter than our very own Sun. So what is so special about our Sun? What are some key characteristics of it? Well, it's about 100 times the diameter of the Earth. So if you have the diameter, is basically the width. So if you have the whole sphere of the Sun here, the distance across it, that's its diameter. It's about 100 times bigger than Earth. If you have the Sun here, you can fit 100 Earths all lined up along the centre. Now this is obviously significantly bigger than the Earth, and in fact it's a lot denser as well, which means it has more mass and it has more material and it weighs more. It's all compacted in. It's actually around 330,000 times the mass of our very own Earth. In fact, it's so big that if you took the mass of the entire solar system, so that's the mass of all the planets in our solar system, Earth, Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, Uranus, Mars, all of them, and the mass of the Sun. The mass of the Sun weighs 99.9% of the entire weight, the entire mass of our solar system. So it's significantly more massive, more heavy than all the other planets combined together, which is really the central focal point of our solar system. Because it's so massive, everything orbits around it. So you have the centre, the Sun, centre of our solar system, everything orbits around it, and these big sort of orbits going all the way around with increasing distance to different planets. So what else? Well, the centre of our star is around 15 million Kelvin. Now, Kelvin is just a temperature. It's like Celsius or Fahrenheit, you probably know. And if you're talking about 15 million, there's not much difference between Kelvin and Celsius. So you can basically assume it's around 15 million degrees Celsius. Now, although at the centre it's very hot, actually at the surface it's not as hot. It's around 6,000 Kelvin. So this is around 5,700 degrees Celsius. So it's not as hot, but it's still very hot. You also may know that there are things called sunspots you may have heard of. Now these are cool parts of the surface of the Sun. These are sort of round spots, the dark patches that you can see on the surface of the Sun. And these are from sources of really strong magnetic activity on the surface of the Sun. And what this does is cause a very cool part of the Sun to form. Now, by cool, I still mean thousands of degrees Kelvin, thousands of degrees Celsius. But it's just cooler than the surface, and so it just appears darker than the actual surface itself, which is much hotter and much brighter. Now, sunspots, we don't really understand very well, but we do see is they go through an 11-year cycle. So, at one point, we don't have many sunspots. And around 5.5 years later, we have lots and lots of sunspots, and then again 5.5 years later, we don't have any sunspots again. And it sort of goes through this loop that takes around 11 years. So sort of fluctuations in the number of sunspots over the entire thing. Now, how does the Sun make its light and its heat? Because here on Earth, the reason everything we see is because light is reflecting off it, and the light comes from the Sun. Well, at the core of the Sun, the very centre of the Sun, it's doing something called nuclear fusion. So this is where it gets two hydrogen atoms. I have videos actually that are on the atoms and things like this. So if you don't understand much what hydrogen atoms are, then you can go watch this video and you'll understand a bit more. But anyway, it takes some hydrogen atoms and it sort of combines them together, and it forms a bigger atom, forms helium. And helium is just what you breathe in and it makes your voice go very funny, or it makes what balloons float basically. And so it fuses these two together, and as it happens, it releases energy, and this energy is released as light and heat, and so that's how we can see everything here on Earth and how we're heated by our very own Sun. Now, the Sun, we think, formed from a supernova. So what happened is our sun is around 4.5 billion years old. But before that, there's probably other stars and lots of gas and things around. As one old star, presumably at some point, died, it exploded in this massive explosion, and it ejected loads of material and loads of energy in some sweeping giant bubble that moved outwards. And there was lots of gas around the star, and as the bubble moved out, it compressed all this gas. And this compressed gas, our very own star formed. So, through the death of one star, through its explosion, our star itself, our sun, actually probably formed. And so the death of a star can cause lots of many other stars to be born. And that's basically how we think that our sun was formed. So that's all I'm going to do on this video about our sun. I'm going to do more videos, lots of videos on things like on stars, and I'll tell you all about the different layers of the stars, more about how they create energy and things like this. But I kind of want to keep this video a bit more orientated just towards our own sun. But yeah, check out the rest of the videos when I put them up on stars, and you can learn a little bit more about those if you're interested. If not, keep an eye out for the next video in the Solar System series, which should be on Mercury, which will be up soon. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.